Fans, yes, chefs, welcome back to the We Need Roads podcast and our spoiler special on season 4 of The Bear. And Marie, you look like that's just woken you up.
It actually kind of has. I did not expect that energetic start.
I'm only joined by Chef Marie on this episode because Chefs Jose and David have not yet caught up with season 4 of The Bear, so we've had to send them to Copenhagen for more training, which sounds like a better deal for them than us, to be honest. Chef Marie?
I'm a bit pissed off that I didn't get to go to Copenhagen. I did not know that was on
Very
the
nice.
table.
When I was there once, I found a laundrette / coffee shop.
I was wondering where that was going. Okay, yeah.
And of course, it makes sense, and I'm sure there are, but I'd never seen one in the UK before. But first, if you're a long-term viewer and listener, and frankly, why wouldn't you be? Don't forget to subscribe to the We Need Roads podcast on YouTube and all our other channels. Last year, we gave you our predictions on where we thought season 4 of the show would go. So let's see if any of us were right. However, that was episode 106. But when I was checking and listening back to what our predictions were, I didn't realise we'd been talking about The Bear on the pod so long that we did a season 2 spoiler special on The Bear, which was episode 78, long before the days of Chef Marie. And in that episode, I said in season 3, I thought Carmi would walk away. So I actually predicted the main kind of end of the series just a season too early. We also mentioned back then the sparks between Sydney and Luca. And we also said, are they going to make enough money to pay Bakung? It's kind of still unclear, obviously, because the clock winds down at the end of this season. And still no crossover with the UK show Boiling Point, because it's not been recommissioned for a second series, so that's kind of dead in the water. And so, yeah, I predicted Carmi would sort himself out in season 3. I was wrong, but I did get it kind of right because it was in season 4. So specifically for season 4, I said about the review, because that was a big thing at the end of the series. What was the review going to say? And I said it was going to be mixed. It was going to be good, not great, and they'll probably get a time limit on how long they have to make the changes or close, which might be the crux of season 4. Nailed it. But then I did get something wrong because I said they would fail and then move on to great success elsewhere. But hey, that could still be the show's endgame. Also, I said Carmi speaks to Claire and apologises. I was right, but also I was kind of wrong because I said, but she's probably moved on and doesn't care about it anymore. But clearly she hasn't, as we saw. I said that Richie would get together with Jess and take her to his ex's wedding, but nope, he didn't do that. But she did start working at the Bear, and they did share some longing glances and began to bond in a few scenes. Also, I thought him and Carmen would fall out again, but bar the finale argument where everyone was arguing with everyone, they were mostly fine this season. I thought Sydney would leave to go to Shapiro's and get together with Luca. Wrong on both counts, but again, Luca just has chemistry with everyone. Yes, chef. Jose said he thought the show would end on a good note in season 4. Kind of. Not really, though. What he did get right, though, he said he thought the ending of the show maybe not be restaurant success, but personal happiness for Carmi. So, yeah, got it right there. Anne-Marie, this is what you said. You said Carmi walks away and leaves it to Sydney. For him to be happy, he needs to leave the stressful environment of the restaurant. Good Richie's arc continues, continued improvement as a dad, person, and yes, you did ship Jess and Richie as well. You didn't think Sydney would leave, and I quote, I think she'll be the head chef of the Bear. That's all I've got.
I mean, I expect this is where you edit in applause and, put a crown on my head, like mic drop.
I was just going to ask you what you put for my lottery numbers, to be fair. Me and Jose, we didn't really get anything spectacularly wrong. We just went a bit further. And I think that's what this show does. It's really kind of macro focusing in on a smaller time scale and smaller events. Because, if you think about it, the whole arc of this season is literally Sydney trying to decide to make a decision whether she's going to stay or go, and the clock counting down to give us that extra kind of momentum. And that's it. That's really it.
Short time span. It's just 2 months. This entire season is just 2 months.
Ah, okay. Yeah, because I think when you binge it like we did over, I kind of lose track of the timing sometimes. It's just like...
Neil, there's a literal clock in the episodes. Like, they keep saying it's a 2-month parachute. And once again, I'm a little worried about your memory here.
And I only watched it last week. Jesus. I suppose it's kind of important to the plot, right?
You mean a literal clock that's always in the background counting down? Yes, yeah. It is.
Okay. Point taken, but hey, I'll probably forget it. So let's move on to the good, the bad, and the what the fuck from season 4 of The Bear. Firstly, the good, as always for me and The Bear, the music. Oh my God, the music is so good. Episode 1 of season 4 literally starts off with That's the Way by Led Zeppelin. So I was watching this with my dad, and he's a big Zeppelin fan. He's got the vinyls. They should definitely be worth money at this point. And I was just watching it going, that sounds like Led Zeppelin. I don't recognize it, so it's probably like a deep cut. It is. It's an album track off their 3rd album that isn't really that well known. and they play the whole song. Which, like, again, the cost of, because a lot of music in TV shows and films, and I'm not sure if every listener and viewer knows this, but you pay for, there's always different ways of paying for it, but usually it's on, you get 10 seconds is this much, a minute would be this much. The whole song? No one buys that. That would be crazy. But clearly the music budget for The Bear is through the roof, because they generally play a lot of the songs, especially if it's like a really big opening song to like the season, which this was. I mean, you also had Sonny and Cher, I've Got You, Babe, which again I love because that starts off with Carmy and Groundhog Day. And again, the associations of that song now with Groundhog Day probably would have just been enough. But then obviously he's watching Groundhog Day on TV. I was like, wait, Bill Murray's in The Bear? Technically he is. We just actually need actual Bill Murray in The Bear now as well. I think that would work. You had The Who, you had Tangerine Dream. I mean, it was brilliant. I'm not going to run through every song in The Bear because I could see you probably go back to sleep if I did that. But there are loads of, I'm just going to talk about some specifics here. REM. There's REM's Finest Work song, which again is off one of their really early albums before they got famous. And it was funny, when I was watching that episode, I actually kind of spoiled myself on this music. I Googled playlist for the series before I'd seen the episodes, and so when it said Finest Work song REM, I was like, oh yeah, I know exactly when this is going to come up in the episode. And I was wrong. It was like right at the very end. Again, REM, they use almost as like an emotional bookmark. There's a song Strange Currencies, which again isn't one of their better known songs. It's an album track generally, and now that's become one of their most listened to songs of all time on streaming because of The Bear. We've got Paul Simon, you got Lou Reed, you got Shalek, you got Jackson Brown, you got the Ronettes, you got Oasis, Stay Young, and that must have cost a shitload of money because they love their money again at the minute. Episode 7, The Wedding, The Bears. All the songs are in this episode. I mean, Tom Petty, Weezer. They love a good Weezer song. Weezer have been in loads. You got James, Taylor Swift. Again, the cost of Taylor Swift.
Yeah, and this is the third season in a row that they had Taylor Swift, and it's really interesting because it's like always associated to Richie and his daughter. Like that's every time they play Taylor Swift.
I had not picked up on that before.
And it's like almost like in addition to like when you hear Taylor Swift, oh, Richie's about to like grow as a character, as a dad, which is interesting.
I wonder if it was in a contract for the show that you can only use my songs if it is having a positive effect on the characters. I mean, I joke, but
yeah, I know you joke because, like, to my knowledge, she doesn't have that much to do with it. Her song was used for a very pivotal scene in Bridgerton last season, and she was just like, "Was it?" Like,
she's a busy lady. She's a very busy lady.
Is.
I mean, you also had Lou Reed. You had Everything But the Girl. You had a beginning song by the Decemberists, another one of my favorite bands, and of course Pearl Jam and Springsteen. All of that in the same episode. I mean, I'm going to have to... If someone can tell us, let us know in the comments what the hell the music budget was for this show, or even that episode, because I'm sure it's insanely high, or they're just really good friends with all these people now, and they get a deal on it, maybe. Episode 8, we kind of come back again, so we had I Got You, Babe again, and Strange Currencies was back again in that one. We also had, in the later episodes, New Noise by Refused, where you mentioned about Taylor Swift being used for songs with Richie and his daughter. Refused's New Noise is a song that opens the very first episode when it's all manic and chaotic. This is the soundtrack that they use when shit's going to kick off, and they always use it for that. St. Vincent, they used slow disco in an earlier episode, but they also used faster slow disco as the end track for the season, which was an interesting thing. Overall, that's music out of the way. It's brilliant. Go and listen to the soundtrack of it all if you like that kind of music, which I do, so I will. The main theme of the season, Marie, is everyone heals this season. It's emotional. It's uplifting. Tell me more.
It's something, honestly, I did not expect. Like, genuine, like, character growth. Like, some of these scenes, like, had me, like, properly tearing up and crying. Dealing with, like, generational trauma and trying to overcome that. It's in a way, I would actually commend the show for doing it, because it's actually kind of a very bold step, because, like, I think people first tuned in for the chaotic nature of the show. But, I mean, it does make sense that over time these characters grow, they try and improve, and they try and heal, and it's just... It's beautiful. Some scenes had me like bawling. Like,
it's funny because I was just reading some other reviews to get a sense of what the general critical reception to this season was as well before we recorded this. Again, it was across the board. Some people said it's brilliant, other people absolutely hated it, and I was like, how can you hate this? And I did read, I think it was Vulture did a really good article where they were just like, it's brilliant, but it is the most anti-TV show you can get.
It is, and that's why I love it so much.
And that's
I
why it's
love
original.
it. It's like it like breaks the format. I'm pretty sure I said that in this previous review. Like the dialogue, these conversations feel real. It feels like if you would just walk into a room and two people are talking, like that's how unscripted it sounds. And yeah, and it's like it breaks all the format, all the rules of serialized television. It like just completely evolves the characters. But that is like it's amazing. It's like the only thing like the example that pops into my head is Breaking Bad with Walter White, where the whole idea was that this character was going to change from the very beginning to the end. But this is like done in more of a very grounded, more like less, crystal meth fueled level.
Yeah. I think the example they gave was that Kami has this big realization, and in most shows, he'd go to one therapy session or he'd have one conversation, and then, hey, it's Happy Kami.
Yeah.
In this season, you see him trying every episode to be better, to improve. He goes to everyone. He goes to apologize to Claire finally. He goes and has that amazing scene with his mum. And he's not perfect in any of them,
No.
but it's just making the effort, him making the effort because he wants to make the effort. And like I say, that's what the show does really well, is it isn't just this, hey, he's fixed now. Great, let's move on to the next storyline. It's no, this is a massively hard, ongoing process that he needs to work at. And these are his first steps because he now realizes that's what he's got to do. Because I mean, we were so wrong on our previous predictions when we were like, "Oh, is Kami going to go down like the dark hole and it's going to be drama?" No, he's already been there. He's already done that. Really, season 2 was everyone improving except Kami,
Yeah.
and then season 3 was kind of a bit of a holding pattern, and then season 4 is Kami now coming up to everyone else's level.
And that's also the thing, we see that with every single character. It's not like one day to the next they're suddenly a better person. Like you even see it with Richie where he like has a few like setbacks where he's just like he still like has the old Richie reaction, and but then he still like grounds himself and goes, "Oh no." Like trying to be improved, trying to be better. But that's what happens. Like people don't get better from one day to the next. And one thing that I think is just like really genius of the show, which I was thinking as I was watching the season, is like it really mirrors the 5 stages of grief really well. And
Yeah.
now we're kind of getting into the acceptance phase where like all the characters are like, because like obviously this whole show started with Mikey Steph, and now everyone's like now dealt with the reality of the situation and trying to move on. But
So would that work as a stage a season then?
no, because I mean because these 5 stages are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. I don't think it like would
No,
work for a
yeah.
season. It doesn't denial, but you can still see it in the
It's in
characters.
every character's kind of got that
Yeah,
journey of those
got-
within it, haven't they? But yeah.
exactly. Just at different paces.
Yeah, yeah. Which again is probably I'm sure I'd love to see like the writer's room and like the board with all like right, this is Richie's arc for the season laid out. This is so and so's arc for the season laid out. And you just see how it all breaks down.
To be honest, I actually maybe this is controversial. To be honest, like I wouldn't even call it an arc because like we as humans we don't have arcs, and I think like these characters are so like it's really weird because it's like a nonfiction show, but still characters in television, even if it's a not
Mm.
like it is this is a show that is fiction, but still it's like not like fantasy or anything, and but it's still like even like friends or something like that. Like when you hear the conversations, you're like, yeah, not people don't really talk like that in real life. Like that's not like a conversation you would, or like Sex in the City or something like that. That here it's like genuine where you just like, oh, this is like a proper conversation. Like this is feels such like a real conversation. This feels like a real human reaction to something.
With and I think this again, I don't know how much of this is exactly in the script and how much is in the performance, but that it's a combination of both that makes it
Yeah.
feel so real because it feels messy when people are they're talking over each other, they're not letting people finish their points, they're shouting, it doesn't feel scripted and rehearsed.
Hmm.
So I'd love to know how much of that is actually on the page and how much of it is in the performance. I mean, I'm sure a lot of it because I think Christopher Storer is pretty much like the showrunner as well. So as the main writer, and I think he directs a lot of them as well. So I'm fairly certain it's all him modulating his ideas through to the cast there. My next note on the good says "fucking baby smellers."
Oh, the facts. I love the
The
facts
facts.
so much. That scene with the baby was just so funny. Like Sugar asking them when was the last time you washed your hands, and she was like last week. That just such good writing. It's just like where like everyone knows, like it, like that. This is like the thing. I think what I like about these characters, like everyone like kind of like in generally accepts everyone how they are, and everyone knows like the facts are just
The facts.
the facts, exactly.
Yeah.
Like they're just like a certain type of people. So like they are acting like a certain way about them, but they still don't like talk down to them or anything like that. But yeah, the facts and the baby, I just love those interactions so much.
Well, because you get that great scene with Neil, who's worried about his appearance, and he's like, "I don't fit in now. Where's my place?" There's a really nice scene, and Richie just G's him up.
Yeah, because he is also like this is the thing. Everyone's healing, everyone's improving, everyone's trying to get better, and even like he's like realizing like, oh, everyone's like improving their skills, getting better. I should do something, and he like wants to be like a better server. I mean, we had that scene in I think it was season 3 where he like served the dish but then took it back to the kitchen as well.
Yeah.
So like and like he's conscious on that happening. So yeah, character growth, human growth all the way.
What surprises me as well, because obviously Neil, fact, the greatest of the facts, is played by actual like chef Matty Matteson. And it's funny that you see the character, his acting is so good at that lack of confidence that his character has. And yet you see him, he turned up as a guest judge on America's Top Barbecue Challenge, a show that me and my dad watch about, well, barbecuing in the States. And he was so different to like the character he portrays. So he was confident. I mean, he's also funny, but he's intentionally funny. And everyone's just like, oh, it's Matty Matteson. Like everyone, I mean, obviously there's a TV show. They're gonna not go, oh, it's the guy from The Bear. They're all like, oh, you know. I literally looked up his sandwich shop that he owns. After that, I was like, I wonder how much it costs to get a fact sandwich. But yeah,
And
that is a phrase that doesn't. I can't remember. It wasn't. It was. It was definitely reasonably priced.
did they look good?
I think it was in Canada as well.
What type of sandwich?
I don't think it was there last time I was in Canada, though, sadly. Oh, Canada. One thing I really loved this season was Ibrahim's storyline and the success of the beef window. Because as we said last season, he kind of fell by the wayside a little bit.
I mean, Ibrahim has been in the background, I think, since season 1. Like he's always been there, but he's never really had like his own journey. And this one, oh yeah, my heart was just like calling for him. It's just like now every time I want to get you guys to do something for the podcast, I'll just type creating opportunity in the group chat. We need to create opportunity.
With his new mentor as well, the guy Albert, I was just like, he seems genuine, but I was just waiting for the other shoe to drop. I was like,
Same.
Is he going to be a dick?
Same. Again, that's like their like uncertainty the show has put us in, where it's just like you like introduce a new element and you're like, oh my god, this is going to go horribly wrong. Like in the previous season, you had John Cena back, and I thought they're going to mess up the floors. They're going to mess up the floors, but no, it was fine. And here as well, I was like till the very last minute until he met the computer, I was genuinely questioning like, is this a scam? Because especially when he like opens. On occasion do take quite a lot of marketing classes, and usually it's always like I know how good someone is when it's like number 1, come up with an Instagram handle, and it's like, oh fuck's sake, like I know all that. I want to know how to improve what I already have, and I thought this was like this thing where he was like just like gonna do like the basic like ChatGPT of mentorship, but I think no. I think he's actually genuine, and I think his idea is gonna save the restaurant.
Yeah, that was my fault. I was like, Ibrahim and the beef window is actually going to save the bear. Because when he gives him the numbers and shows him how well it's been doing, they're like, holy shit, this is like, you need to franchise this. Again, this could be something they drag out for the whole next season, because they do like to drag out decisions in this show. So Ibrahim telling Kami, and I don't know how that kind of works, because was it one of their recipes that they were using to do there? Was it one of Mikey's things they were doing? I think it was probably to make the sandwiches. So obviously he's got to get Kami's blessing to do it. But then does that mean he goes off and he's his own boss? Or is it franchised through? I don't know how it's going to work. And especially with the change of ownership that we'll get into later. I'm kind of like, I'm not quite sure. I need more detail on that storyline of how it's all potentially could work.
I mean, more than likely they're gonna open another location and it's gonna be run by a fac. Like they know so many people. I'm surprised they don't know the entirety of Chicago at this point. I think they'll definitely keep it in the family because their family is so big.
There has to be a scene later on, doesn't there, where like Neil is literally like, Well, no, because he's not a chef, is he? 'Cause it would be too on the nose for like Matty Madison to like actually be cooking something in the show.
No, no. But you know what I want? I want a FAC family reunion. Like I want to see all
That
of them.
that could be season 5, and because I'm thinking we've had weddings, we've had Christmases, so we need a death. But it could be the death of some fact that we don't really know, or
I don't think
like a side
so.
fact.
Since like death is like a very like I mean the whole thing started with Mikey's death. I think they're kind of moving away from
Mm.
that.
No, but if it was a minor fact that we don't really know, then that would enable our character. Because again, you would expect if they did a death, it'd be shouting and it'd be. What if they did the death, but it was more like the wedding episode, or it was more of a comedy episode? That would be with trying to predict where the bear goes, you kind of have to go against the opposite of what a normal show would do at this point, or even what the bear itself has done in previous seasons. You kind of have to try and get in the thinking of what Christopher Storer and the showrunners are doing. You kind of have to be like, okay, well that's crazy, right? They've done this, so they're not going to do it again. What would they do that's different? What would they do that's original? So we got Carmy and Donna. I think this is the first time they've actually had a scene together in the history of the show. Because when they've had it before, it's been in flashbacks. It's never been in the present.
Saying since the past, like I think so, and I think it's also like the first time Carmy's been back home since he left Chicago for his culinary exploits.
And I liked that his mum's really trying hard to like explain and apologize for everything. And yet his way of dealing with it, he just kind of sits there and nods, and you can see it's too much for him to take in. He's really struggling to deal with it all. So his way of dealing with it is go and make her a meal. And I guess she appreciates and can see that that's his way of accepting it. Because he's a man of very few words a lot of the time in a lot of big emotional scenes.
It is, and I don't think it's something he has done that much, because there was like this like I don't know, like when he made the offer, there was like a bit of a shock. I think it's because that is like I think in a way Carmy's love language. That's how he like shows connection to people by cooking for them. I think that's how he got into cooking for the first place. So that was like really like building a bridge, like a little literal roasted chicken bridge. I also
bridge of chicken.
The bridge of chicken. I also did really appreciate the salmonella comment, because yeah, seriously, do not rinse chicken in the sink. That will disperse the salmonella. It's like one of the biggest like cooking faux pas that everyone does. Do not rinse raw chicken in the sink. Absolutely not.
Good to know. I mean, I feel like I've never done that because probably I would have been dead already. Also, we have to move on to Richie and Jessica. Just do it already. Like that scene. There's that scene where he's fixing her pin.
Yep.
And you see her look at him, and like they're looking at each other, and you can see him thinking about, oh, do I make a move here? And he doesn't. He keeps it professional. He's so trying to do everything by the book now in the best possible way. He's like, is it okay to ask you about your background? Is it okay to ask you about your family? All this kind of stuff. And you're just sitting there going, Richie, yes, you are like just the man now. You are the man. Said the word man way too many times.
But also like such a smart business move. Like I mean I know the business is hemorrhaging money, but like actually hiring people who know what they're doing is
because she brought 2 minions with her as well, didn't she?
Well, she brought the other 2 from Olivia Colman's restaurant.
Yeah.
So and the non-negotiables, and I mean like again like I love that scene with Sugar where she's like, Richie, stop hiring people. But again, extremely smart move, bringing in someone who actually knows the fuck what they're doing, and they actually made a big difference.
And of course, your favorite new addition to the bear.
I'm so happy. I screamed. I literally screamed.
Now, the veracity of, I'm guessing if you're a Starge, you get paid jack shit. I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's kind of like an internship. Yeah, to be honest, like. I'm not sure, like, narrative-wise, it makes sense to be him to be there because he had, like, a very successful restaurant in Copenhagen. I love Luca so much. I love every time he turns up. Like, that one episode in season 2 where we see him, like, wasn't enough. And then, obviously, they brought him back in season 3 for the restaurant closing party. And he just had, like, some brilliant scenes there. And, yeah, I loved seeing him in the chaotic environment of the bear, where he's like now the like fish out of water. He doesn't know who is, and he's like trying to figure out like what's going on. It's just. But he was still funny.
Super chill, wasn't he, and navigated it really well.
Yeah, he was. He was like again a good like person to have around. He just kept Like just these like little like times like wait, who? Like what happened? Why were you in a fridge? Like it was just so funny, like him being caught up to like what's actually happening in this restaurant.
Also, have they framed him in this to make him look absolutely massive compared to everyone else? Because he buffed out for the Marvel diet, but you see him in other films and he didn't look as massive. Like you see him just towering over people in a kitchen. So I wonder if they shot him that way to make him look more imposing. I think especially in the scene when Marcus's friend who's selling his house just suddenly thinks he's gay for him, which was hilarious. I was just like, wait, what?
No, he is gay, the character.
His character is right, because I could not remember that character at all.
Yeah,
in
no.
this season.
Like because at first I thought him and Marcus were together, but then he hit on Sydney. But no, the character is gay. Chester. But I mean, to be honest, that would have been my reaction as well. Like where he just like where Sydney sees him and he's like, "You're good," and he's like, "I did not expect him to be this good looking," and I'm like, "Yep, me too. I probably would have fainted. I would have probably walked into the kitchen and like fainted and smacked my head open, like." Oh, just like as you said, like his like presence, all the tattoos, it just all really works. And then yeah, I love this character so much.
Even though narratively it's a bit sus how they got him there, really. It's just probably like everyone loves him. Okay, do you want to do it some more? Yeah, okay, cool. Do Sex Machina, you're there.
Yeah, maybe this is like the one thing where I was just like, would he have left his very successful job in Copenhagen? Maybe not, but it's good to have him there.
Abby Elliott as Sugar again. Just awesome, but she did have slightly less to do this season. And but again, she's such the heart and the soul of the scenes, and she did have kind of like a minor arc where it was to kind of do with like getting over, like getting back into work after her pregnancy and her ongoing feud with the aforementioned Francine Fack, and we finally got to meet Francine Fack in a later episode.
Yeah, the Chekhov's gun of this season, like
the Chekhov's Fack.
The Chekhov's fact, exactly, because it was like teased throughout the entire thing, and we're just like, who the fuck is to this person?
One thing I really want to talk about was episode 3 with the snow ending, where the family celebrating. That was like no, that's snow in my eye. That's fake snow in my eye in Chicago in the middle of the summer. Definitely not here there. But I mean, again, this is Richie using what he learned at his training. Because they told the exact same story. You have someone comes in, they might have saved for like a year to come here. They might have waited this long to do that. And then when he goes, right, these are our VIPs. We're going to take care of them. But of course, this doubles alongside another food critic being there that night and seeing the whole thing.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, did you think he was a normal food critic? Did we think is this the Michelin man? Like, because you do get the food and wine review. Was that the same person? Because like, they were like zooming in on this dude like way too much.
Yeah, it's like, who's this rando?
Yeah, exactly.
He can't be a rando because
he can't be around because they kept focusing on him. And I think like his name was Mr. Clark. That's what the Uber said or something like that.
If we'd done our research, she might have actually been a famous food critic and we just didn't know. Because I'm sure there was these cameos again in the season, wasn't there? With like maybe critics and food people. But hey, uneducated and uncultured, I'm afraid.
Speak for yourself. I'm like, when it comes to food, I don't fuck around. I just don't.
What you tell us in your WhatsApp that you have for lunch some days, I would disagree.
That's because I'm poor and depressed. But usually, it's why I'm not really that much into that world. I mean, like it's more my brother, but like I've eaten at some fancy places. But that's always because I was always like a +1, where someone's just like, "Oh, someone cancelled. Marie, do you want to come?" I'm like, "Yep."
You're like, "Can you bag the rest of this for the next month for me, please?"
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, it's timed really well because the critic is walking out and getting his Uber right as the snow thing's happening down the side alley.
It's really
so
sweet.
The timing was spot on. And of course, this leads down the line to a positive review and Marcus getting his flowers for being excellent for one of his desserts. And I like their little fake out because you think it's going to be Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
Like because the way it's framed, just like it's on Carmi, then it goes to Sydney. They read it out, and it's Marcus. So I mean, I guess that's kind of for also not giving him much of a storyline at all this season as well.
Yeah, I mean, but to be honest, like Marcus has gotten like quite a lot of focus in the past. Like last season, he had the whole arc with his mom dying. So I think it's like fine. One thing that what this show does really well is balance all its characters. And like, because this is like something like we've talked about with previous shows with a big cast where they give every single character a story arc and it's just so convoluted and you can't follow. Whereas like just like having these characters naturally in the background doing their thing feels like just so much more like authentic. Like the family
But
is
they do
felt.
that here, don't they? They do
They
give
do.
characters the arcs, but they don't do it maybe in the same season. So, like you say,
Yeah.
Tina and Marcus were kind of rotated out this season a little bit more. So, next up, let's move on to the bad. And this will be the exact opposite of our last podcast when our bad section was maybe the longest part of the podcast. This was definitely going to be the shortest part of the podcast because, honestly, there was nothing really bad
No.
for me in this season at all. Critically, people did complain about season 3 being a bit slow and meandering and how long the time frame seemed or compressed and all that kind of stuff, and nothing really happened. Bollocks. Season 3 was an absolutely stunning season of TV. People didn't like it because it just didn't do what they wanted it to do. And of course, with this season, they've done exactly the same again.
Yeah.
Oh, you're expecting arguments and angry and blah, 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 blah. And we get a little bit of that, but it's the opposite. This is the happy, this is the uplifting season.
Like one of the few things I have on the bad, and it's not even related to us. It's our parents didn't like it. I mean, I think your dad has a very like flattering name for the show currently.
Yes, as we were watching it, he called it The Bore. Oh, we're going to watch The Bore tonight.
Yeah.
Is it going to be? Is it going to be lots of long conversations of people talking? I was like, it's always been that.
Yep. My dad says there, like, and this is a direct quote from him. He says there is too much monologue, which I completely disagree with. Something to consider, but again, it's more case we're right, they're wrong.
So a minor bad, and we kind of just touched on this in the last section. Certain characters didn't have as much to do this season, like most notably, Tina had a lot less to do. She had like a mini arc where her main plot was just trying.
She just cooked
Pasta
pasta
arc.
for the entire season. I mean, but again, this wasn't like a useless arc because like you could see everyone else helping her out. She had this very sweet moment with Luca, and then you
I was
also
about to say he's the one who helps her do it.
but then you also have that moment of realization because of this arc of Carmi realizing that Sydney is actually way better than him if he gave her the room to grow. Because like she, without trying, got it under like the time limit with no problem. And that's how I think it was episode 2 that ends, where he like looks at the timer and then realizes, oh shit, like she is the future. So again, like very clever writing, but we don't even like, I don't think we see Tina like outside of that stovetop. She's like chained to that stove.
We see her once at home because I remember her husband is in it.
Oh,
and that's her
exactly,
real life
when she was
husband.
practicing, exactly. But yeah, other than that, she's making pasta for the whole time.
Because her husband in the show is her husband in real life, and he was in Dexter years ago. I was like, oh, it's that guy from Dexter. And I looked it up. I was like, oh, wait, they're the surnames. And they're married in real life. Awesome. With Tina, obviously, she had a big flashback episode last year that gave her character all the thing. And this is what this show does well. If there's a character around, I mean, next season we might get a sweeps episode. The wine guy, we might do. They might go, right, let's fill that character in a little bit more. You might get a full fact episode where we focus on one of the facts. Because the show, and you won't mind it, and it'll probably be one of the best episodes of the season because it's such a super narrow focus on that one character and about every part of their being in it. Like we said, Marcus, he had his storyline with his mum the previous season. He didn't really have a lot to do this season other than try and sell his house and hang out with Luca. So, not a bad deal.
And with his dad trying, like, going through the conflict of whether he should reconnect with his dad or not. So still some building up to maybe something.
But again, in real life, it wouldn't be sorted like that in that such a short space of time. So it's probably something for down the road. One thing I can kind of agree with, but I agree with the complaint, but not that it is a complaint, is that narratively not a lot happens in terms of plot and story. Because if you think about it, and we mentioned this probably at the start, I think, is the main threads of this show is, are they going to get everything done? Are they going to make the money back and improve before the clock winds down? And is Sydney going to stay or go? That are your two main thorough lines for the whole season. So when you think about the time that takes place in, well, it's 2 months, because I know that, obviously. I didn't have to be reminded earlier in the episode. It's not a kind of show. It doesn't need to be propulsive. Unless I said that's what makes it good, is the focus and the depth and the time you get to spend with the characters. It's a hang show, really. It's a hang show with lots of arguing and swearing. But hey, that's the best kind, to be fair. I thought there was a weak episode, but even then, it's not a bad episode. And it still has loads of positive things. And I thought it was the episode where Sydney goes to get her hair done. But again, it shows the depth of her trying to make a decision. and how she's putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. But it's still a good episode. And you know she made that kid an awesome meal. And I thought later that dovetails really nicely with Kami making a meal for his mum. So it's, when they're in situations that are a little bit uncomfortable for them, what do? They make food. And so it's kind of, and I suppose you can kind of look at the way she does it versus the way Kami does it. And so again, it's kind of that nice duality between the two of them.
I also did really like the comparing working two restaurants to two different sleepovers. That was, and the kid was just like, why would you stay in the chaotic house? Like, why would you be there? Like, it's was really like funny where just like the kid was just like, this seems like an easy decision. There's pizza at the other sleepover, and she's like, yeah, but I don't like the other people in the other sleepover.
And in fact, the real reason for this being an episode in the season is it was written by Edebiri and Lionel Boyce. So Sydney and Marcus themselves wrote this episode. So again, what can't she do at this point, Edebiri? I mean, I'm sure she's directed something. We just haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah, she did. We said this in our tier list episode, which everyone should check out. I'm about to say something that will go completely over Neil's head, but she actually just got arrested at the Britta Carpenter show recently, and their interaction was just so funny, where it's even like this like improvised moment. And I'm not going to give you any more context than that, Neil.
It's just like the hard being Irish thing.
No, but basically in her show, Sabrina Carpenter does this thing where she arrests people for being too attractive.
Gotcha.
And when it's like a big festival, she usually does it with a celebrity, and their back and forth was really funny.
Again, before Edebiri got famous for The Bear, she was known for being a comedian, so yeah. I'm not surprised at all. One thing you didn't like, I found one thing you didn't like that you told me about that we wrote down as a note. Sydney's weird dream sequence.
Yeah, I don't like dream sequences in general when it comes to TV. And for something that's so like grounded like The Bear, it felt a little bit jarring. And part of me was worried that it was gonna be the whole episode because it also went on for a very long time. Now, I do understand why they did it, to show her anxiety, to show her like really struggling with this decision. I just think the scenes went on way too long. And I was like a bit worried, like, oh, will this be the whole episode? But it wasn't. But yeah, maybe because like I like my whole life is like a nightmare dream sequence, so I don't really like to see that on TV.
It was too realistic, is what you're saying.
Too realistic. I mean, I lucid dream. My dreams are very vivid, so I'm just like, I don't need to be reminded.
But again, it shows that nice duality between her and Kami.
Yeah.
Because Kami had his dream sequences in the earlier seasons as well.
He did, but they were also really, really short. They were like less than a couple of seconds, so... But I think this will always be one of my more general complaints. Not enough food porn. I always want more food porn. I mean, there were some episodes, I think episode 8 was like where it was very food porn heavy. But no, I wanted a little bit more food porn.
I think my dad actually said, he's like, I want to see more of the food being made.
Yeah.
So, okay, you can, he's slightly redeemed himself there with that comment. Right, this brings us on to the what the fuck section. And for a change, this is a positive what the fuck. Because this what the fuck is a whole episode. Each season of The Bear, they always do an extended episode. And I checked this one. I was like, because I was going to watch a few back to back. And I was like, wait a minute. I just want to see how long this episode is. It's 70 minutes. It's basically a short movie. And it's called Bears. And it is Tiff and Frank's wedding, Richie's ex. This is going to be the Christmas episode. This is going to be It's going to be the big one. It's going to have all the cameos, and it had all the cameos. And it was just the best episode of the season, right? I mean, hands down.
It was so good. And we expected a Christmas and we got the complete opposite. And it was so unbelievably sweet. This is one of the ones where it finished and I was like bawling, crying. It was
Under a table?
Yeah. Yeah. It just was so cute because, you have like basically this powder keg and you're just thinking like, oh, shit's going to go wrong. Yeah, exactly. What's going to go wrong?
Because we're so conditioned to learn to have that, aren't we?
Yeah, and things are just like, this wedding has been building up for like the past 2 seasons as well. So we're just like, oh no, like all the bears, all the facts, everyone in the same room. It's going to be disastrous. And no, like other than like our surprise new fact, who will they not make a fact?
Let's mention the new fact. We finally get the long-awaited arrival of Francine Fack, played by none other than Captain Marvel herself, Brie Larson, who spoiled this for me on her own Instagram, posting this exact picture the day the show came out. And I was like, oh, so you're in The Bear season 4 then? It literally has just come out today, and no right-minded person would have had a chance to watch all 10 episodes yet. Potentially, I suppose if you start watching at midnight, but even then, come on, hold back. Because surely that would be better even on socials. Like, oh shit, she's in this, and then more people might go and watch it, or actually more people might like. She's kind of got a very weird social media reaction because of trolls, hasn't she? But Brie Larson's brilliant, so go fuck yourselves, trolls. Brie Larson is Francine Fact, Natalie's mortal enemy,
and maybe something else.
Yeah, I completely missed this, which you should not be surprised at by now, Marie, at all. I completely missed this, and we'll get onto that in a second.
I'm just going to say, because we've got like the Jose fun facts, do we now need to have like the Neil Mrs. Queer subtext? Like, because it's happened quite a lot. Just like rainbow. It's gay. Well, I mean, they were like, it was very unclear what happened, but apparently like they did hook up at one point, which was like a funny moment. Because, like, the realization on Pete's face when he realizes it's hilarious.
The look on Pete's face is probably the look on my face.
Yeah, but even if you miss that scene, at the end, when they make up and they're all dancing, Pete asks, "You're not in love with her, are you?" What did you think that was about?
Yeah, that makes more sense now.
So, one thing that I absolutely adored about this episode is Richie's and Sydney's friendship. Like, especially throughout the season, but it is in this episode where just the fact that he brought her as his date to the wedding to like support him, and like it opens with them having that scene of him like basically with him having a panic attack and not sure if he's been able to do that, and she's just like there for him. Just like the arc that those two have gone to from literal ass stabbing to being each other's emotional support humans is just like so beautiful. And that like also like culminates in the finale of the episode. It's just like them like now starting to like lead each other and like again like really like becoming like I'm not saying like more than friends like in a romantic way, but like more than friends in like
family,
exactly.
They're
in
like
a family way, like them like supporting each other and leaning on each other, and it's just brilliant. And I loved seeing like that like reality. Like we would in season 1 you would have never thought it would have gone to become this, like how that started.
Because I was kind of worried that Richie was going to backslide in the first couple of episodes, because you see him like at home and like not sleeping properly and like getting home and like looking a bit sad, and I was trying to think, okay, what's driving this? Where's this going to go? And of course, it was just that, the wedding's coming up. Mm-hmm. That's all it was, I think.
Yeah,
to be
definitely.
Fair.
Because like
that's all it was.
He still has feelings for Tiff, and like
Britta's in this.
How long were you waiting to pull that out?
Every season, Gillian Jacobs appears in The Bear.
Yeah, because he still clearly has feelings for Tiff and like misses like that family thing. But
it's even harder when Frank's such a nice guy, and also Josh Hartnett.
It is like he's not like the evil stepdad or something like that you would expect. He's more like on the Pete side where everyone just thinks he's a little bit boring. Like other than that, like.
And it's kind of cool that he comes to Richie for the moment, and Richie's like, because that seems like, why am I shouldn't be doing this. Like, I'm the last person who should be helping this guy with my daughter, and he absolutely goes for it and like does exactly the right thing.
Yeah,
because he's grown so much as a person over the course of it.
Yeah, because I would have like generally thought he would like try it and then like rub it in his face, like, oh yeah, like I'm still number one, like, but he's like, no, like, she clearly has a problem here. You need to deal with it. And like the way like he like tells him like, oh, she always talks about you, and then like when he gets under the table, Claire was just like, is that true? And Richie was like, no. Fuck no.
Yeah, that was the moment, wasn't it, when like you're like, oh, like he has done a nice thing. I don't know if we're going to get more Francine. In fact, I feel like they just got her into Shout a lot. I think that was it.
No, I think it was like Cena Fact, like a cameo experience. Yeah. Like, it's very surprising because like nearly everyone from the Christmas episode was here as well. So the fact that they get these like big name actors in for just like maybe like 10 minutes of screen time is also very impressive.
Yeah, John Mulaney was back. I mean, he's got a live talk show on Netflix every week.
Really?
When did you find the time to do this? Sarah Paulson was in it again.
Exactly. But also just like, again, for just like a
Saul
couple
from
of
Better Call
minutes.
Saul. And that was a great scene because he obviously explains how him and his brother became friends after that scene. So again, there's so many callbacks to the Christmas episode, and like inverting that what you expected. And like say, bar the initial fuck offs, that was pretty much it. It was like no, everyone got along well, and it was a nice wedding in the Bear, which we did not expect.
Yeah, but it also showed like because like the Bear family is a very stressful family. We know this. But then we learn like Tiff's family is actually worse. None of them came to see her at her wedding. And so it's just like again shows like even like because we like you see like a chaotic toxic family environment like that and you're like, "Oh, why would you stay?" But then it's like all these like little moments and then realizing that Tiff came from an even worse thing and this is like fun, normal for her.
But she says to one of them that I didn't want to lose
Oh,
this.
she says to Unc.
It's the Unk, that was it. Yeah. I didn't want to lose the Barazatos.
Yeah, she's
Baratos. Barazato. I didn't want to lose the
Bearzatos.
Barazato. The Bear Zato.
Those.
The
Yeah.
Bears.
They're the
Oh.
Barzatos. But yeah, that was such a sweet moment. And on that scene, I just want to also like just compliment the costume design here. Because like Tiff's wedding like look really told a story and it's really nice because like she had the blue bow in her hair, like the something blue, which she matched with her daughter, which is really cute because they had the same hairstyle. Then she had two different colored earrings, so something new, something borrowed, and then the dress was probably the something new. So it's like really cute like how they like that whole outfit like told the story.
Yeah.
You didn't notice it at all, I'm guessing.
Come on, costume design. I'm the music guy. Like, you're the costume design person. And Jose. Anyway, moving on.
Jose just looks pretty. That's his job on the podcast.
He gives us very good thumbnails for the episodes with his face. So I guess there's only really one thing left to talk about in the episode, and that is where season 4 wraps up and when we're going to be going for season 5. Because the last episode is basically a free-hander. It is Sydney, her decision, telling Carmy that she's going to stay. It's Carmy telling her his decision that he's going to leave. And it's Richie walking out going, hey, what's going on with all the shouting, getting involved in the shouting match himself. And then in him and Carmy getting deep into it, which they've deeper than they've ever gone before. And it's just these three brilliantly acted. Sorry, it's almost like a one-er, really. In fact, I don't even know if I'd have to check that because it feels like everything took place just outside the kitchen, didn't it? In that little
no,
break
it all took
it did take place
in
the
the
whole
alley.
thing.
The whole thing took place in that alley.
Yeah,
Again, very like breaking the rules to what a finale is.
Oh, definitely.
Like you would expect like a finale to have like quite a lot of set pieces, like a climatic resolution, and it's just 3 people and then 4 when Sugar joins them for like the final few seconds talking in an alley. But it's just so impactful, and it's
And
like,
Sugar, she just walks out.
Yeah, I just said that.
No, but she walks out and just hugs Carmy, and that's it.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying is she didn't need to say anything. Like everyone else came out and like gave their monologue about the whole situation, and she just ignored. She didn't need to hear it. She just walked out.
No, I think it was episode 2 or 1 where they were talking on the phone after and Sugar is just like, if you don't love it anymore, it's okay. Like, it's okay to walk away. And then he calls Pete. Neil, I'm getting worried for your memory here a bit.
Do you know what? It's not that. It's just the sheer amount of stuff I watch and trying to retain this information.
So, like, that's why when she, like, walks into that alley, she knows. She knows because she already had this conversation with him. She already knows, like, he's feeling this way. Like, she put the idea in his head.
And again, this just proves that you were right on your predictions from season 3. So, soothsayer, prognosticator of prognosticators, Punxsutawney Phil, tell me what's going to happen in season 5.
The pressure's on now. I mean, I think, like, obviously it's going to, like, continue on the healing trajectory. I think the other beef windows are going to play a role, and I think, like, those are gonna basically save the restaurant where they like give basically like another parachute to the restaurant where the beef is performing well, so that means like the bear can perform a little less bad and give them like security. I do want to say, because like I think that we were talking about this like this time last year, we also did not know if like season 4 was going to be the last one or not,
and we still don't know.
We don't know. We know that season 5 has been confirmed and is in development. I do think it's maybe like time for the show to start winding down and ending a bit, because like everyone is like improving, growing, and getting better.
And we don't need it to fall back again.
No, we don't. And my prediction sounds like it's gonna end with like Carmi finding happiness somewhere else. But whether that's gonna be just season 5, I don't know. But I think like I want to say like the next season is gonna be like a big focus on trying to save the bear, but also like listening to Ibrahim, seeing if they can franchise the beef.
Yeah, I'm trying to think where you go because I'm trying to, like we mentioned earlier, to predict where the bear goes, you need to almost go completely against what a TV show would do in the situation where the season ends, but then also have it stay true to the characters and the story it's telling. So, like you said, everyone's going to continue on an upward trajectory, but it is about saving the restaurant, and you don't want to see any of them fail. So, you want it to be a success under Sydney. So, I've got it. Perhaps the season is getting the star, but Sydney gets the star for the restaurant.
Also, someone they thought they would get the star in 2 months. That's cute. I know a bit about the Michelin star. Do you know why it's Michelin? Like the star system. Like why is it a tire company?
Not a clue.
So, I'm not sure if this is going to make it in, but this is a tangent. But this is a very fascinating history fact and like restaurant fact. So,
Marie's fun facts.
Exactly. So the reason, because I've been always curious about this, so I looked into it. So basically, Michelin is the tire company. They back in the day, tires did not last long, so people wouldn't go in much longer drives. So Michelin wanted to encourage people to drive further, so the tires wear out. So they changed tires. So they started putting out a restaurant guide. So they started releasing maps of like showing different types of restaurants around, so people would get in their car and drive to them and wear out their tires. And that's how this whole Michelin star thing started.
There you go, everyone. You have learned. If you didn't, now you do.
I think that's because I like work in marketing. That is like such a genius marketing thing. And it's like again like read everything is everything is tuberculosis. But like for me, it's like everything is marketing. Like everything is like something like in orders. Everything is something for someone to sell more things.
So bringing it back to what I think is going to happen in season 5, I think the time frame is going to be very important. I think it's going to be very similar in that it's going to be a very short amount of time. And it's just deciding what the one or two things are going to be that is the crux of the season. So perhaps Sydney's and the restaurant's arc is, like you say, saving itself and getting that star. Or perhaps the countdown, because there's always some kind of countdown, isn't there, in each season? Or like, obviously we had a literal one this season, but the last season was the waiting for the review. The season before that was before they opened. So there's always they set someone up in the first episode, and that's the ticking clock down, literally or metaphorically, to the end of the show season.
I'm actually gonna throw in a wild card and predict the bear is not the one that's gonna get the star. It's the beef, because like food trucks and food stands can also get a Michelin star.
Okay, that'd be a shock, and that would be a nice, again, pushing Ibrahim's story up to the front. Because, like I say, if he saves,
bringing it where it all started, because like it started with the beef.
So, but it would be Mikey's family, Mikey and the Bizzato family recipe that then gets it. So that'd be funny, wouldn't it? So what would that be saying though? Carmi goes off, becomes one of the greatest chefs in the world, at the best restaurant in the world, and it's something his parents did.
Because he improves the sandwich in the first first episode of
because they're arguing about they're arguing about the thing. Perhaps it could be a countdown. This is what they would normally do in the show. Like this is very on brand for the bear. The whole season is it's just the countdown to Carmi's last day there.
Yeah, true.
That could be it, because that would be something that usually they do it in an episode or two. No, the whole season is him saying goodbye. I love a goodbye season. Parks and Rec did the best goodbye season ever, because they just like, right, every character throughout the whole show. You get an episode, you get an episode, you get an episode. What are you doing in 20 years' time? Boom, you get an episode. And it was almost, they said they were never supposed to get that last season. And then they got it last minute and said, great, victory lap. Do what you want. And it was great. So I think we could get something similar here where it's like Carmi's, but it's the last hurrah, but a positive end to it. Like, he gets to leave it in such a stronger position, like he kind of lays out at the start of the season. So yeah, I think it ends, as we said, it obviously ends with Sydney taking over. Her and Richie being like that now, it's just going to be good.
Richie being put on the contract, and it's being Sydney's idea. Again, it's like them too. Just, they're so like they're my favorite platonic pairing.
So, Chef Marie, this is an easy, very easy question. Is this season a recommendation? And what is your emotional support donut rating out of 5?
I mean, I didn't actually know I did cry. So quite a bit this season for not the reasons I thought I would. But no, I still highly recommend this show. It is just phenomenal television and it like exceeds expectations every single season. I'm gonna give it, I think, a 4 out of 5. It would have maybe been a 5 out of 5 if they just thrown in a bit more food porn. I wanted just a little bit more food porn. And I still admit I don't eat. This was a good season, but it still wasn't as good as season 1. I think that's still like the benchmark of how good this show was, because it had a phenomenal season. Tremendous season of television again.
I mean, it's 5 scallops for me. It's an obvious recommendation. It's one of The Bear consistently is one of the best shows on TV, whichever year. Well, I mean, they're getting a show a year out almost at the minute now, which is great. You've grown to respect lots of shouting and swearing in The Bear, but this was a season where Carmi finally started this healing process and growing up and fixing all the toxic issues in her life.
I've actually got a question. Well, is this season finally considered a comedy? Because it's always been nominated as a comedy for Golden Globes, and it's
still a drama.
It's probably still as close as it's gotten to a comedy, but that's like one of my like funniest things. Like every year it gets nominated as a comedy show.
It's because whoever decided at FX, probably the makers of the show, they stood a better chance in that category than they did going up against Succession and the other. But then you look at what's up for best hour-long drama now, and the field is like, boom, it's gone down. I mean, I love Fallout. I wouldn't say it's an Emmy-winning show. Fallout was not up for best show at the Emmys this year. The Bear absolutely could have swept it if it had been put in there. But I suppose, could they change categories once it's been done once? Or I don't know.
I have no idea. I don't know how it works. If someone does, let us know.
If they just submitted the Bears episode, the wedding one, that was 70 minutes. Mm-hmm. That's probably too long, knowing TV rules and people being dicks. Honestly, half my week is spent trimming a show that's too long. It's usually like 35 or 36 minutes, and it needs to be exactly 29 down to the exact second. And like, great, how do I cut this without and still have it make sense and not be weird? So yeah, that's fun. Anyway, for me, it's an obvious recommendation. I always overrate stuff, so I'm giving this a 5 out of 5. I haven't decided yet where this goes on my shows of the year list, but it's going to be in the top, what's the word to describe a bunch of shows? Bunch of shows. It's going to be in my top bunch of shows at the end of the year. It's definitely going to be there come the end of the season. And of course, it's definitely going to be there come the end of the year, and we just need to force Jose and David to catch up now. And also, we are not using the tier voting system on the Shows of the Year podcast, because Jose will be a little bitch again. I'm sure of it. Well, like Uncle Computer's countdown clock, that's all the time we have on this episode of the Weenie Rose podcast. I'd like to thank my co-host, Marie. Marie, where can people send you gifts of baked goods and Luca online?
Much appreciated. You can find me underneath the handle Life on Mars. That is TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. And then you can check out my other podcast called Two Girls from a Reusable Cup, which is the complete opposite of this. But if you enjoyed my fun Michelin fact, that entire podcast is like that, just about sustainability.
And you can find me at Needed Roads on Twitter, Neil Gregory78 on Instagram and Threads, and Neil G78 on Blue Sky. And also, I'm on TikTok at Neil Gregory09, which I still haven't changed. And at one point in the near future, I will ask Marie to tell me how I do this and change it over to the official We Needed Roads TikTok account. And for more We Needed Roads shenanigans, you can find us on Spotify and also hopefully here on YouTube, where you've hopefully been watching the show today. And you can find our full library of episodes. And if you like what you heard, hit that bell icon and subscribe, because we also upload a ton of shorts as well now. There's trailer reaction videos. If we see a film, we basically do a video on it now. Get it out there as soon as we can. So don't forget to leave us a comment and let us know what you thought of season 4 of The Bear. Was it a yes, chef, or was it a yes, Jeff? Let us know and we'll read out the best comments on a future episode. And make sure to join us next time on your favourite plutonium-powered pop culture podcast. See you then. Hands!
We Needed Roads.